In the previous video we covered the basics of Turnitin GradeMark. In this video I want to look at two more features, using GradeMark for Rubrics and the new Turnitin iPad app. As we've discussed before, Rubrics can be a great feedback tool, and a possible workflow would be to design an assignment and a rubric, then to show the assignment and the rubric to the students so they know what is expected of them. The students would write and submit their assignments, and then finally the teachers would give feedback using the rubric. We use Moodle Direct, which is a plugin that integrates Turnitin with Moodle, and the default procedure of Moodle Direct is to write and attach the rubric after a student has actually submitted their assignment. An alternative is to write the rubrics in advance at Turnitin.com and subsequently attach them to submitted assignments. If you attach them to one assignment, then it will automatically attach to all the other assignments that the students have submitted in a class. If you don't have login details from Turnitin.com, there are two alternatives. One is to reset your password at Turnitin.com, which may be the quickest way to do it. Secondly, you could also write to Turnitin at hku.hk. So taking this into account, a revised step-by-step procedure is as follows. Maybe design the assignment first using Word and then copy and paste it into the rubric tool at Turnitin.com. Then you would show the assignments and the rubrics to your students. As they won't be able to see the Turnitin rubric, just show them the original Word document, for example. As before, the students would write their assignments and submit, and then finally the teacher would mark the assignment using the rubric. And as I said before, you basically select one of the student submissions, attach the rubric to it, and it will automatically be attached to all the others. To explore rubrics a little bit, first of all I'm going to log in at Turnitin.com. If I want to create a rubric, first of all I have to click on one of my classes, then click on Libraries and Rubric Manager. And what opens up here is quite a complicated rubric that I prepared before, simply by copying and pasting in the cells. To show you how to create a rubric from scratch, click on this icon, Create New Rubric. At the top here you would enter a name. At the bottom, the three different methods of scoring. You can see standard rubric, which is a percentage, the custom rubric, which means you can enter in values, scores for each cell, and finally the qualitative rubric, which doesn't involve any scoring. I'm going to choose the middle option, and I'm going to say maybe that this cell would be worth 5 points, this cell would be worth 4 points, and so on. Is grade A, and the next one is grade B. Let's give a name for the first criterion. And a description for the grade A. A description for the grade B, and so on. When you've finished, simply press Save, and you will be able to recall the rubric later. Now, after a student has submitted their assignment, I click on the pencil icon to edit it. And clicking on this icon here, you can see it says View Edit a Rubric. At the moment no rubric is attached, so I click on the spanner icon. I would attach the rubric. Let me just close that and show you that there are two views for editing using a rubric. One is this mini view, which just gives you the scores, and if you mouse over it explains what they mean. And if I click here I can see the full-size rubric in a new window. Which is quite nice. And then just clicking on a square marks it and gives it feedback. Onto the iPad app. As you can see from the login screen, one option is to dive in and try the demo, which is what I'm going to do here. It's a nice way to become familiar with the controls and options on offer. You can make quick mark comments, bubble comments, inline comments, you can highlight, strike through, all the normal GradeMark features. And perhaps my favorite feature of the iPad app is that you can download papers to your iPad. This is called syncing, and then you can mark the papers while you are offline, maybe sat by the swimming pool on holiday. And when you get back to your room and you get an internet connection again, you choose sync, and this would upload all the grades and comments that you've made. So I think that's very nice. For real work, there are two ways to access student papers. One way is to register an individual class, and this works without a Turnitin login. In GradeMark on your computer, go here to get a class code, and then you have to manually enter it in the login window on your iPad. Another way is to simply log on with your account information, and this gives you access to all your classes, which is what I'm going to do. Selecting a class, then selecting one of the assignments, press the blue cloud button, and then say yes to syncing, and this basically means downloading all the papers to your iPad. If you press it on one, it will download all the assignments from one class. And then once they're downloaded, you're free to edit and give grades the way that I showed before. Clicking on this icon reveals the originality report, and clicking on the pencil gives you an option to enter a final grade, to use a rubric if there's one attached, to add voice comments, and to add general comments. Summing up, for both of the features I have presented, and particularly the iPad app, this video can only be an introduction. The best way to learn is to play, and if you search for Turnitin iPad Vimeo, you can find some useful tutorial videos on the Vimeo site. This is like a YouTube alternative, and I think these videos are very instructive. So have fun.